Alright, this is Uncle Jam back at it with another resource pack video. This is part 2 in my little mini series of connected textures. And in this video, we are going to assume you have either seen my first episode of the mini series, there'll be a link on the screen for that one, or you have a pretty basic understanding of connected textures and how they work. In this video, we are going to cover the vertical method, the horizontal method, as well as combined vertical and horizontal method. And we are also going to cover optional parameters that have to do with these CTM methods. If you want to jump to the optional parameters, just head to around 10 minutes in this video. So let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see, I have all the methods we will be going over highlighted there in the image. And so we will start off with the horizontal method, then we'll go to vertical, and then the combination of the two. And when I'm finished up with those, I will show you all the optional parameters you can use that go across the board for all methods. So as you can see, I have selected the gold block as my image I'm going to use as an example. So we'll start off with the horizontal method. And as you can see from the image there, it only requires 4 tiles to create. So it is very simple. So I will create my tiles. So as you can see, I have my 4 tiles. Now I actually didn't create these. I actually grabbed them from an old resource pack that is out of date. So if you want to check out that resource pack, the link will be in the description. And as you can see, I have all the tiles lining up with the horizontal template. So 0 looks like 0, 1 looks like 1, and 2 looks like 2. So now I'm going to put these into a folder, and I'm going to call them gold block. Just going to stick them inside, and we will head in. Now we need a text document, so I'm going to open up textedit for Mac. On Windows, you can use Notepad. We'll make it a plain text. And on Mac, we will change our encoding, just in Preferences, Open and Save, to Western Windows Latin 1. Now, we need to put in our required parameters, which we went over in the last episode. So let me insert those really quickly. And for the method, we are going to type horizontal. And tiles, we will type 0 to 3. So for the horizontal and the vertical method, we need to have 4 tiles specified. So in my case, I have 0 to 3. And that is how that works. So let's save our document. I'm going to call it goldblock.properties. Make sure we spell that right. We will change the encoding to Western Windows Latin 1. That's for Mac only. If you're on Windows, you're good to go. We will click Save. And we will install it into our folder. Now we need to install our folder into our resource pack folder. So let's head inside of our resource pack. Once again, check out episode 1 if you don't know how to get to this step. We'll head into Assets, into Minecraft, and into MC Patcher, which we have to create. Now you can see I have the CTM folder already inside from my last tutorial, so let's head inside. And you'll see we have the 2 blocks we went over in the last video. So I'm going to drop in my gold block. There we go. Now let's head into Minecraft. There we go, so I've installed my pack. I'm going to reload my pack. You can see some of the textures changed from last episode. And we will place down our gold blocks. And you'll notice they start connecting in a horizontal line. And if I start placing them above, we get a bunch of horizontal pillars. No matter how we place them down, they're going to break up into pillars. So that is the horizontal method. You can see they are going to continue in horizontal pillars. So let me quickly just touch on the vertical method. It is basically the exact same as the horizontal method. It requires 4 tiles. I will pull up the template on the screen so you can check it out. And the template is a little bit different, obviously, because it is going in a vertical direction. And the tiles is 4 and the method is vertical. That's the only differences. So I'm not going to go over that one. I'm pretty sure you guys could figure that one out. Now let me touch on the horizontal and vertical combined method. So let me do that. Okay, so as you can see, I've grabbed a few more gold block textures to match up with the vertical template. Now I'll have both templates, the horizontal and vertical, on the screen so you can see those. Now as you can see, in the horizontal template and the vertical template, tile number 3 is the exact same. It is the tile with borders around the entire block. So as you can imagine, when we are doing a combined method of horizontal and vertical, or vice versa, we only need to supply one of those textures with the border all the way around the whole block. However, we need to supply all the other textures. We need to supply all the horizontal ones and all the vertical ones. So as you can see, let me install these into my folder. So, as you can see here, I have numbered them 4, 5, and 6. So if I arrange them like so they match up to the template, you can see that we have tiles 0, 1, 2, 3. These 4 tiles match perfectly the horizontal template. And we have 4, 5, 6, and you would expect tile 7. However, it would be the exact same as tile number 3, so we don't need to include it. So this is how you use a combined method. First of all, you decide which one, horizontal or vertical, you want to have priority. So in my case, I have horizontal having priority because tiles 0, 1, and 2 are the horizontal textures. So these ones are going to have priority over the vertical textures. If I wanted it to be opposite, all I would have to do is switch the numbering of these tiles and make these bottom 3 0, 1, and 2, and make these horizontal 3 4, 5, and 6. So I hope I'm being clear. Basically, you decide which one you want to have priority. You create all 4 of those textures. In my case, it's horizontal from the template. And then the one that is not going to have priority, you only create the first 3 textures and you title those 4, 5, and 6, or the preceding numbers. So I hope that's clear. If you have any questions, ask them below in the comments. Now let's enter into our document and edit up our document. So here's my gold block document. Now, our block is still the gold block. Now our method, in this case, we need to specify. So as you can see from the image on the side, we have horizontal and vertical, and also vertical and horizontal. Now those have to do with priority. So you want to make sure that your name links up with your priority you decided on in your files. So since my priority is horizontal and then vertical, that's exactly how we type it in the document. There we go, we got horizontal and vertical. Now the tiles, we need to expand this out to all of our tiles we have. So it requires 7 tiles for this combined method, so 0 to 6 should work. We will hit save, and now let's head in game and see how it worked. So here we are back in game, and I'm gonna reload my pack. And right away you can see all of this stayed horizontal. Now that is because, once again, our horizontal takes priority over vertical. So let me give you an example here. Here's horizontal. Now if I start placing these vertically, you'll notice they start connecting like a vertical pillar, just like we specified. So this is actually a combined method. However, I have horizontal taking priority. So if I put a block here, you'll see this block decided, oh, I can't connect vertically anymore because horizontal takes priority, so I'm connecting horizontally. So as you can see there, we get a big horizontal pillar, but these ones are still connecting vertically. So that is the combined method, and you can switch the priority just by switching your order of your tiles, as well as the order of the text method in your document. So I hope that's clear. That's the combined method. Now I'm going to touch on the optional parameters. Okay, so as you can see, I have created some sticky piston connected textures over here. There's 5 tiles corresponding to the template of CTM Compact, which we covered in the last episode. And I've also created a text document called Demo Piston, which we will be editing to show these optional parameters. So here's my CTM folder over here from my resource pack. So I'm just going to create a new folder in here and we're going to call it Sticky Piston. And I'm going to install all of my files into this folder. So as you can see, we have the tile textures and we have my document. Now let's take a look at my document here. So as you can see, I have the required parameters. I have match tiles, piston top sticky. Now if you're wondering why I'm using match tiles instead of match blocks, it's because the sticky piston, let me head in game, has multiple tiles on the texture. As you can see, the face, it has the side texture, and it also has the back texture. And I wanted to point straight to this tile here. And remember, the tile name that you use, in my case is piston top sticky, comes directly from the default assets folder. So if you're confused about that, once again, check the last episode. So as you can see, my document here, method CTM compact, the tiles are 0 to 4. So let me reload my pack and show you what it looks like. So there we go. As you can see, the piston connects to make one big, large looking piston. So that is the default folder. So let's get into the parameters now. So I will head back into my document here. So the first optional parameter we're going to cover is actually going to be metadata. I'm going to jump down the line here just to try to keep everything as straightforward as possible. So the metadata value is pretty self-explanatory. It actually covers, it's just the metadata value of a block. So let me explain what I mean. I'm going to change this texture to be applied to wooden planks, just for an example's sake. So we're going to say match blocks 5. Now that is wooden planks. So I'm actually just going to erase this and just show you what I mean. So we'll head in game and we'll reload the pack. And you'll see when I place down wooden planks, they display a sticky piston texture that connects. The only problem is when I place down any kind of wooden plank, they also connect. Now this is not what we want. If we want to just specify it for only the oak wood planks, we'll notice when we highlight over, we see 005, a slash, and then 0. And the spruce planks, we see a 1. Now that number after the slash is the metadata value. So, as you can imagine, if we head into our document and we type metadata equals 0, and we click save, head in game, we reload our pack here, and you'll notice that anything that doesn't have the metadata value of 0 displays the default texture. And oak planks here, which are 0, display our new texture. So that's the metadata value. It's pretty simple. Now, I'm going to jump back up to the top of the list here, and we are going to cover the connect parameter. Now this parameter can be a little confusing. There are 3 options that go with this connect parameter. There is block, tiles, as well as material. So to start off, I will show you the block parameter. So block, basically it is specifying how the game will connect the textures. So block means if the block is the same as its neighbor, it will display the connected texture. Tiles means if the individual tile is the same as its neighbor, it will display the connected texture. And material means if material is the same as its neighbor, it will display the connected texture. So to start off, we're going to use block. And we will just save it up and head in game and see what it does here. And you'll notice I removed the metadata value. So as you can see, we're just back to connecting just like it did with the original match blocks parameter. That's how the block one works. Little hard to show the difference there, so sorry about that, but it basically is kind of a default. It is set to default if you are using the match blocks parameter. The connect is defaulted to block. If you're using the match tiles parameter, the connect is defaulted to tiles. So let me show you now what I mean by material. This option is pretty interesting. So we save it as material, and you'll notice we are using wooden planks. So if the material is it's going to connect it if it's connected to anything of the same material. So since we're using wood, if it's connected to any plank, regardless of the metadata value, it will still display the connected texture. So this might be very hard to understand. Let me type metadata in here. I'm going to set the metadata to 0 again, which is the oak wood planks. So what we would expect to see is it's going to display the connected texture only on the oak wood planks. However, we have material selected, so a few different things will happen. Let me demonstrate. Here we are. Let's reload our pack. You'll notice we have the texture on the oak wood planks, which is as to be expected. However, if we take spruce wood now and we connect it to the oak wood, you'll notice the texture is now changing on the oak wood planks. That is because we have material selected. Now it is noticing that this material is the same as this material. However, it can't display this texture on this material because we've specified the metadata as 0, but it can still alter this texture to connect to this one. So I'm sure you can imagine some uses for this. Now, it also works with with logs. So as you can see, the logs now are actually creating the oak wood planks to connect. That is how this parameter works. It's very interesting. Now I can see it could be used in many ways. Now I can't think of any right now off the top of my head, but I'm sure you texture pack artists out there can think of some uses. So that's how that one works. So now let's move on to the next optional parameter. So our next optional parameter is faces. So let's type faces. Now there's a few options for this parameter, which I will show you on the screen. And basically you can select which faces of the block you want the connected texture to display on. So in our case with the oak wood planks, let's select the sides. So this is going to display the connected texture on all the sides. I will hit save, and I have no metadata selected, so all of the planks will display this. We will reload our pack. And you'll notice since I removed the connect parameter, this is now what it looks like. So let's grab our oak plank, and you'll notice when I place it down, the texture is only displaying on the sides, and it will connect just like normal. However, it will only display on the sides, and the top will always be that. So the faces parameter is pretty self-explanatory. You just specify which faces of the block you want it to display on. So top would be top, bottom would be bottom, north, east, southwest. Those would be all the corresponding faces of the block. So let's move on to biomes. Now biomes, once again, is somewhat self-explanatory. It will display your connected texture only in certain biomes. So if we set this to jungle and we hit save, now we head in game, it's only going to display this sticky piston texture in the jungle biome. So we'll head in game here, reload, and you notice we're back to normal wood planks. Now if we fly over to the jungle biome here, as you can see I have some iron already set up with this parameter. And we place down, not the sticky piston, but the wood plank. You'll see when we're in the jungle, it displays this connected texture. When we're outside of the jungle, it displays the regular wood textures. So that's how that one works. It's pretty self-explanatory, and oh, there's an interesting behavior there. You'll notice it's connecting to this wood plank, even though on the biome line there. Not sure if that's useful, but that's interesting. So that covers all the parameters. Now you'll notice I have the heights parameter highlighted in red. That's because according to the official Optifine page, it says the heights parameter is implemented. And no matter how hard I've tried, I cannot get the heights parameter to work. So I just wanted to let you know that it should technically be there. So if you can get it to work, that's good. It's pretty self-explanatory as well. You just specify a Y value or a Y value range where you want the connected texture to display, and it will display in that range. However, I could not get it to work, so I cannot demonstrate it. So that covers all the optional parameters. Now I want to make one quick note. In Optifine, they actually don't include two parameters that were included in MC Patcher. That is the render pass as well as the inner seams option. Now, those options also say on the official page they are planned to be introduced in the future. So keep that in mind if you are an advanced CTM artist and you're familiar with these parameters. The current version of Optifine does not support them. However, maybe if you're watching this at a later date and Optifine has updated, it does support them. So if it comes out with support, I will make a video covering those two options. So I think that's going to do it for this video. Stay tuned for my next CTM video where we will go over the rest of the methods. So, have a good day.